again. We are continuing to practice social distancing. It is Friday, May 29th, and we welcome you back to the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth Facebook Live, episode number 10. Today we will be focused on articles number 26 and 42. Children of families in need have the right to extra help from the government. Looking very forward to sharing some of our findings from yesterday's meeting with our Youth Ambassador group with you later in the episode. And would also like to just showcase our new t-shirts. Got rights? So John is happy to take it in the comments where we can look at having this as part of our swag. So let's walk around and make sure that everybody knows you have rights.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Kathy. My name is Cheryl. I'm the Knowledge Keeper here at Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth. I totally forgot what I was going to say. I'll start with the land acknowledgement. I'm a little backwards today. So the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth wish to acknowledge that we are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the beautiful homeland of the Métis Nation. So I'm a little scattered today because I thought a lot about yesterday's meeting. So I'm just going to start Bojo Kanuabik Tijnakaz Nameo na Mawagan. I say miigwech for this beautiful day. We only have today. And later on I'll be talking about the wolf teaching. So we'll be talking about that humility. So today is a beautiful day. I'm really thinking about the youth in the community right now. So with that, I'll just say miigwech and I'll share a little bit more later. Thank you.
And I'm John, and I am in a great mood today. We always do 1 out of 10 for our YAAS meeting. So today I'm going to have to say I'm at a 10 at the moment because the little people got their jelly beans. The electronics seem to be working. We are live as we promised. So
We think we're live. This has happened before.
So I just want to say that last night we had our Youth Ambassador Advisory Squad meeting, and again, there's about 8 or 9 of our youth came out for this meeting. This is on Zoom. They're helping with a research proposal regarding culturally appropriate mental health, and they're mind-blowing, the things the youth say. So I'm still reeling. I wrote a lot of that down and going to be reading through a lot of it again today. I wanted to mention that questions can be submitted in our comments. We will get at them whenever we can, as soon as we can, so please feel free to leave those comments. Also, by doing so, you'll be entered to win, like we said, the MACY Swag. We have the t-shirts now. We have a few more items, of course, and a little wavy guy up there as well. And outside of that, I just want to say I'm happy to be here, happy to have you guys listening, and I'm looking forward to the teaching this week from Cheryl. So it's one of my favorites.
Thanks, John. So back to those jelly beans. It wasn't just jelly beans. It was prayer and tobacco. You'll notice we have our tobacco always present. So that starts us off on a good way. And I came in early. I smudged up the office. So
It helps.
And if it was any more helpful, I got some extra special jelly beans. They were jeweled jelly beans.
So those were for the little people last week, but we can always use the help each and every day. We start the day. One of the things I wanted to mention, I'll just jump right in with the mental health, is that setting your morning routine, setting your intentions for the day. Sometimes things don't go as we plan them, but you'll have to make aware your intentions to the universe. Say, I'm going to have a good day. Good morning. And that helps to set the tone for the day. Drinking a lot of water, getting a lot of rest. That's something that I've really been struggling with lately, is that, the routine and being able to understand, there's a lot of stuff going on outside. This week I've really limited my online presence to the point of almost ghosting. So that's what my kids said, are you a ghost? I said, I didn't know what that meant. So, yeah.
That just made me think of something that a very wise man told me once, a very long time ago. We were talking about, you said setting your morning. And the lesson that was given to me was to make your bed. I still don't, but I try. But the whole idea behind making your bed was that the first thing of the day, you would have accomplished one task. And if that was the only thing that you did all day, you would have completed something.
Made the bed.
Made the bed. So as simple as it is, that made me think of it. And I didn't make my bed today, but now that you've reminded me, I think I'm going to start making my bed. So just remember, one task, and you've already completed it at the onset of your day.
Yeah.
How does that tie into humility?
Humility. Oh, I can jump right into the wolf teaching today. So today's teaching is about humility.
Nice blanket that Cheryl made actually with the wolf on it.
Oh yeah, the
Very
pillows.
nice.
So humility is coming to an understanding that there is something much bigger than you and that you do not know everything. I know very little. I actually know nothing. That there is an acknowledgement that there is no one less important and that you are no less valuable than anyone else. So that's that teaching about no higher or no lower than anyone else. Everyone has value. Doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, how old you are. So it's to be proud of who you are is to be a sacred part of creation without being arrogant. It's considering the impact of your words and actions on others before you speak. This for me was a very powerful lesson, and not being able to carefully choose my words, because once a word is out there in the creation, you can't take it back. Whether it was said in anger, spite, it's very important to be careful with how you choose your words, to be able to acceptance of all people as equals in value and worth, and we don't know everything. Those were some of the great teachings from the wolf. The wolf carries this teaching as it acts accordingly to the needs of the community and does not put itself above another. The wolf will work together with others in the community to benefit all and will take nothing on its own. When you come upon a wolf in nature, you will see it lower its head towards you as an act of deference, considering your needs before its own. So recognizing and acknowledging that there is a power greater than yourself helps you to remember to be humble. Mm-hmm. A lot of times in my travels, I have to remember that we have that teaching where we make all of these big plans, but I believe that there's a power greater than myself working, and that he's got a bigger plan for me, and I just kind of have to say okay and follow the flow. I've spent a lot of time trying to do things a different way, and it doesn't work out a lot of times. Remembering that I don't know much about my own life and nothing or anyone else's. Think of others before you act. So a lot of times when they say that, you have to think of the greater good of all people. And right now, in this time of COVID-19, that is so especially true here in Manitoba. We're going into a new phase, and people are kind of looking at that. Me, I'm going to choose to be a little bit less. I've already started shopping less. I've started going out. If people knew me, I was everywhere doing everything. Now I do very little. I do a lot at home with my own family. And I think that's the lesson for me right now. And that's a real teaching about humility, is to take care of your own within your own family, within your own home, and my own little area. So that's my teaching on humility today.
And there was a little brief pause in there. So we're filming at 3:46. Really glad to be back. And we forgot to put the sign on the door, but it's there now.
But it's not a technical issue, so I'm okay with that.
I was gonna say I wanted us to howl for the wolf teaching, so we'll do that at the end.
Okay, well, let's get right into the UNCRC now. So we talk about it every week. United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. It's created in 1989, a long time ago. So this agreement has 42 rights, as you can see. We have a downloadable poster. It's in children-friendly language.
Yeah.
So just go to our website, manitobaadvocate.ca. It's under resources, and again, it's there to be read. You can print it off, PDF version. So please put it up around the house. Just have kids reading it and have even adults and caregivers reading it, just to remind ourselves of all these rights that are very important. We talk about every week, the wants, and the difference between a right and a want. And the wants are the things that we look for and that we want every day and things like that. But rights aren't optional. Rights are something that every youth is entitled to, and that's what this is saying. Like, these aren't things that we can just pick and choose which ones to follow. These rights apply to all youth, and they need to be followed, and they should be followed. And we talk about that right today. One of them we talk about today is 42, and I'll let Kathy introduce that one. But it just goes to show just how important knowledge of these rights are for not just youth, but any caregivers and any adults, just to make sure we're following the best practices for our youth so that they have the best to succeed in life, right? So I will leave it to Kathy.
So to answer John's question, got rights? Yes, you have rights. And Article 42 says that the government should make these rights the United Nations of Rights of the Child known to caregivers and children. So it is the responsibility of not just us, but every adult in your life to make sure that they know you do have rights. So the answer to my t-shirt, to John's t-shirt, and to Cheryl's is yes, absolutely you do. Article 26 also states that children and families in need have the right to extra help from the government. So what does that look like, and what does that mean? Again, it means that all young people should acknowledge and understand they have rights, and all service providers, caregivers, and adults around you should have that responsibility to make sure you know each and every one of your rights. I just wanted to throw in that the coolest thing I own is a pen that I don't have right now. It has all 42 rights, so I'm just going to pretend that I'm opening it up. I'll bring it to our next live feed, and that if you leave a comment in our comment section, you could win a rights pen.
And if you leave them around, Kathy tends to pick them up and then give them away. So I'm going to keep watching my pen.
Yes, so
I keep mine hidden too.
You might get John's pen or Cheryl's. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our video of the week. So this was created by one of our youth ambassadors who resided in Thompson for the majority of his life. And so he created this video, which we showcased at one of our events. So I'm going to let you guys watch it because, again, this is my favorite part of these weekly videos, is just revisiting the creation of our youth ambassadors.
Hello there, my name is Trevor Moracity. I was given Article 42, which is you have the right to know about your rights, and adults should teach you about these rights. To me, that kind of seems like it's really important for you to know these rights. Growing up, I was never taught these rights, didn't know about them. And for me being in CFS, I honestly never thought we had these rights. I didn't know about anything about being a child. It was more to the background of all this. So you should really ask an adult or someone that you know, your social worker, parent, ask them about these rights. And they should teach you. Thank you.
So thank you, and shout out to Trevor for that great video, and shout out again to you for some of those words yesterday, along with the other youth ambassadors that we had again, the privilege of spending a couple of hours with last night on Zoom. What I really wanted to talk about, I know we're talking about children and families having the right to the extra help from the government. Our topic yesterday really was around mental health and wellness, trying to look at the themes and what young people need. And really, it is those kind of meetings that I think show us, John and I and Cheryl and the rest of the office, how important it is that we are listening to the voice of young people to drive and mobilize change in systems so that they are able to access them. One of the topics that I think we'll cover hopefully in another Facebook Live episode really is the stigma that's attached to mental health and the difficulty in moving past kind of the stage or place where you're finally trying to access help and how important it is in those moments when you're actually reaching out, that, you know, us as adults around you are giving you that lifeline there and making sure that we are listening and helping to support all of your needs. Government making the UNCRC known to children and caregivers, again, is key. It is so important that we as a society are understanding that all of our children are gifts. They all have rights, and we have to really respect and protect them. And I'm going to pass it off.
Well, we have a little picture. We like to do the MACY Staff pictures every week. I think it's a good addition. So this is just a little one of our MACY Staff minis at home, cuddled. Looks like she's pretty cold. It must have been yesterday. This picture was probably taken yesterday.
Yeah,
it was pretty cold.
It was chilly.
But yes, our office is open. We've been open this whole time. We have staff who are working from home. Now we have staff slowly transitioning back into the office. So we're here. And our phone number is available. So if you have any questions, you want to know about the UNCRC rights, or you have anything that's going on, I'm just going to say call, right? We want you to phone no matter what. So there's no specific time to say, okay, this instance, call us. It's just whatever's going on, just give us a call. Our advocates are really great. They will be there to help you and assist you and help you as a youth find your voice. If you're a youth caregiver, they're going to help you help your youth, and the only way we can do that is if you phone, and I think that's the best way. So I do want to speak quickly to the listening tour online survey. The link is on the screen. We want to hear from youth across the province, and that was what the listening tour was all about. We want to hear what's going on in the communities for youth nowadays, what kind of struggles they have. We want to hear about what's going right in the community so we can spread that knowledge. And for the problems, the biggest thing we want to hear is what youth would do and how they would recommend that we as adults and as a government can solve those problems. And I think that's the key to what we want to hear. So please take time to fill the survey out. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. It is for ages 15 and up. So just take some time, fill it out, lend your voice to us. You will be entered to win a grand prize. Yes, there is a grand prize. And we can't announce it right now, but trust me, it's worth it. So just take those 5 or 10 minutes, because
it's really good.
If I were a youth, I'd fill it out because I would want to win it too. So
exciting.
Yeah. So I'm just going to leave this here up on the screen while we're talking, just so people have our contact information, our website, and our phone numbers.
Great. So before we close off today, I wanted to when I'm going through the internet, I find interesting things. I think they're share worthy. This one was around mental health and just being inside the home, because a lot of families have kids at home right now. Mm-hmm. Parents also need to be able to have a pat on the back. They need to hear encouraging words around, like it's tough to be homeschooling. It's tough to get that routine down. Mm-hmm. It's tough to always be with your kids. So right now, this is what I found that encouraging words that every parent should be hearing right now. My home is a safe place. I am resilient and can get through anything. I am exactly who my kids need right now. I am grateful for today, for the time that I did have with my kids. My greatest contribution to the world may not be something I do, but someone I raise. That's so true. Taking care of myself is part of taking care of my family. I am a leader to my children. My home is full of love and joy. I do what it takes to make my best, to give the best to my family. I am my children's rock and stability. My little family is the best team I could ever have. I am making happy memories with my children. Everything I do serves a purpose for my family. My kids trust me and look up to me. I am a great role model for my children. I deserve time to myself. Parenthood is not easy, but I can do it. My family and I are in this together, and we got this. I am leaving a legacy of love. And if at the end of the day, everyone feels love, then I have done enough. Aren't those positive words of encouragement that everyone should be hearing, kids and parents alike? So I thought I would share that today.
And you know what? I just want to add to that. It made me think of a conversation that we were having with our young people yesterday with respect to mental health, but just with respect to connections. So we talked about maybe young people who didn't grow up in a family that had that kind of structure. But what we really focused on was about self-love. It was quite interesting when we talked about community connection, and we talked about nature and healing and different strategies for coping with mental illnesses, different strategies to identify them. But that actually, when every single word in there could apply to yourself as well, right? So if you don't have a large family and if you feel like you're alone, that's you. You are your family. So that's what it made me think of. It made me think of those conversations yesterday during that meeting. And I always try and share something or a message from our youth. Yesterday, I think one of the there was a million things that I took away from it. And as John, I have pages and pages of notes. It was a phenomenal meeting yesterday for me because I didn't have a mic, so I couldn't talk. Which I'm sure all of our wonderful youth ambassadors had a good laugh at that because I usually have tons to say. But for me, it was pretty profound because I couldn't talk. But I could listen, and so I listened for 2 hours, and what I took was pretty amazing. And some of the key takeaways really were connected to what Cheryl just said about making sure that self is cared for first. So self, then community, getting back to nature. So all of those really interesting things. And I don't have the exact quote, but I did message it out to the group. One of our youth had said something, and they had said, I don't know, Cheryl, if you remember the exact words, but we've forgotten a lot of the old ways. In our rush to the future, we've forgotten a lot of the old ways, and a lot of those old ways were really about self. So maybe we will add that for our next one. I'll pull some notable quotes out from some of our fantastic meetings, and we can showcase the words of youth.
And I think that, like what you said there with like regards to role modeling, I think is key. And it just makes me think of combining the humility and knowing that as a parent and a youth caregiver, I'm not perfect, and being humble and knowing that I'm going to make mistakes. And part of being that role model is teaching, like showing that I'm human and I can make mistakes, and letting the youth I work with and my own kids see that I am human and people make mistakes, but it's how you learn from them and things like that. So I think I'm going to take that away from this week, just giving myself a little bit of a break when I make mistakes, and knowing that I can learn from them, move on, and just teach my kids and be that role model. That just one of the big things right now that's very dear to me is about appreciating diversity of people and of any background, of any color. And I think that now more than ever, I really want to instill that and make sure my kids grow up that way and understand that there's beauty in diversity. And that's why there's so many walks of life and people across the world. So I think, again, that's just making sure that my role modeling is in tune with that for my kids, and letting them see that like the world is a beautiful place. There's things that people make mistakes and things that we need to go through, but being humble and then moving on. I think that's kind of what my takeaway for this week anyway.
Those are very humbling words, and it all ties into that wolf teaching of humility this week. There is no one above or below, and we value everyone. That's so true.
So the only thing I want to add with humility is I'm reading Cheryl's words because she writes them for us. But one of the things that's really standing out to me is acknowledging that we are all the same. And I think when it comes to young people and children kind of navigating their way through the world, always remember that you are all the same. Not any less than, but the same. Mm-hmm. So it takes away all lines of race, money, color. So we are all the same. So let's, again, not just be humble, but appreciate humility in all of us, and in all of nature as well. Mm-hmm. So it's my favorite teaching.
That's all I have for this week. So I'm going to say thank you, and I'm going to pass it over to Cheryl just to close.
I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to make every one of these guys howl. 1, 2, 3.
See, wow. I learned that from my own.
That was pretty humbling.
It was very humbling. What's our teaching next week?
Well, I can do a pretty good bear, but we already did that one. So
Thank you, Cheryl.
You're very
Yes.
welcome.
Thank
Next
you.
week's teaching will be on the buffalo.
And thank you for joining us again. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you.